has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. The only question is this good or is it bad? Technology is everywhere these days and is a huge part of our culture. Everyone always talks about how wonderful technology is and how lost we'd be without it. But there are some negative things to this growing technologized culture as well. Do the negatives outweigh the positives? It depends on exactly what is being analyzed. The effects of technology in education, inside the workforce, and within our means of communication will further be analyzed to determine if their technological advances have positive or negative effects within our culture. Technology is a big part of education nowadays. Students have access to fully equipped computer labs where they can access the internet or provide educational programs. Laptops are also helpful to students, mainly in post-secondary school, as a portable computer where they can take notes in class or do research on the internet. Another form of new technology is something called a smartboard. It is an interactive whiteboard, computer, and projector. This is a way to keep students engaged and makes learning more hands-on. The internet, computers, and smartboards are all different examples of kinds of technology that further advance the learning opportunity that children have, that they didn't have or lacked of beforehand without these pieces of technology. These are all positive aspects of technology within education, as that they help children to learn.
When I was teaching, we certainly didn't have very much technology. We did have overhead projectors, so you could make up slides and do it on the overhead projectors. But most of the time it was strictly your own preparation and your own teaching. And students, and back when I was in school, students had to rely on going to a library for resources to look up anything that they needed to know and learn. Today, we're so much better in the information that you can get on the internet that's accessible to everybody, and everything you could possibly want to know is on there. So that's an advantage for the majority of students today. The only thing I think that's lost over the years is the capability of the students to be able to think on their own. They rely on calculators, they rely on computers. They can't do their own simple multiplications and calculations on their own. So that's a disadvantage, I feel. I think overall there's a lot of advantages to all of the technology, and it certainly, as I say, even learning to use the technology helps the younger generation. I mean, my goodness, as far as I'm concerned, the 3-year-olds are able to go on the computer and know how to use it. So they've already learned that skill that was never acquired by a generation before this. But I think we've come a long way, and I think it's definitely to the advantage to have all the technology that we have right at your fingertips.
Technology in education has more positives than negatives to it, as it provides students with the opportunity to interact and get involved in the classroom, which overall creates a better learning environment for the students. Technology also has a major role in the workforce. The world of business and trade has become fast, easy, and much more reliable. You can now transact business with the person who's very far away from you without any difficulties. This means that overseas companies can communicate much easier using today's internet and technology. Companies can use Skype to hold meetings that involve many different people that live overseas without having to fly them over for face-to-face meetings. Everyone can stay in constant contact via email or some sort of instant chat. Technology even has a major role in factories, as most are starting to be fully technologized with less manpower. This is by far a cheaper solution in the long run, and it also increases the output per hour, but it causes many people to lose their jobs. People who used to work in factories are now being taken over by machines, and they are not needed anymore. This is definitely a big downside to technology in the workforce, as it's actually creating fewer jobs for people who are now not making any money and are out looking for new jobs. Technology is definitely very helpful on the business side of companies. It enables them to do things that they couldn't actually do before, or help them do these tasks easier. But in the factory side of things, it's mainly negative. Even though all companies want to do is make money, they are putting tons of people out of a job, which may not be negative for them, but within the community is definitely a negative. The main form of communication these days is by technology. It has taken over the social world. People rarely use forms of communications such as sending letters or talking on the phone. They all use this new technology such as Skype, which allows people to talk via webcam just as if they were in the same room as one another. This is definitely a handy program, as many friends and family who live far away from each other use it to communicate. People also use social media to communicate, such as Facebook or Twitter, to share photos, message one another, update personal statuses, and more. Blogger Amy 54321 from teeninc.com says, technology is a great way to stay entertained, but is disconnecting people. Today's internet users have many ways to be occupied online. These days, we have the ability to communicate on websites like Facebook, ways to watch TV shows and clips mostly on YouTube, and play entertaining games on addictedgames.com, all while on the computer. And we wonder why we have no in-person friendships and dysfunctional families. Some also believe that today's youth are so involved with technology and being on the internet that they have no real social lives and lack the skills to communicate with people in person, face to face. But if technology is the future, which it for sure is, then these skills are what they will need to become successful in the future. There's no real positive or negative outcome from the technology we use to communicate. Technology definitely makes it easier for distant family or friends to still communicate with one another any time of the day, but it is also slowly deteriorating the families and friendships with people that we have that are live close to us. In conclusion, technology definitely has its ups and downs within education, the workforce, and in our means of communication. Technology in education further advances students' learning experiences and keeps them more involved and therefore more interested. This definitely outweighs any negative aspects to technology in education. As for the workforce, the loss of jobs for people is a major negative, but the positives within the business side of things definitely creates a neutral feeling about technology within the workforce. Neither really outweighs one another. Lastly, technology as a form of communication is also more on the neutral side of things, as neither the positives nor negatives outweigh one another. Technology creates better opportunities to stay connected to people far away, but takes away from being close with the actual people around us. Therefore, as Daniel Burris said, some say technology is a blessing, others say it is a curse. Which is right, they both are. Think about it. Technology can give you cancer, and technology can cure your cancer. So it's not about whether technology is good or bad, it's about what we decide to do with our technology that matters.